start by creating a composition based on clean plate. That's the first clip that I want to use, and I'm going to just drag it down onto the composition icon and just run the playhead through it. So it's good 22 seconds. That's plenty for all of my other plates to have enough time to enact all of the different movements. Now the next one I'm going to do is left to right. I'm going to just rename that for the sake of the video as right to left. And drag that down on top of clean plate. So this has a simple walk right to left, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to slip the clip on the timeline to the left so that the action starts a little bit sooner. So there's a few seconds before the actor walks, so I'm just going to slip that across until I just start to see a little bit of movement in the corner. So there is a shadow there. Now we could sort that out with the clean plate, but we're just going to go, yeah, so he's just starting to move there. You can see the shadow start to move, and as I hit the playhead, we'll see the movement, and he's gone. So I might just put a marker down now just to show myself where the action has ended for this one, and that's just done by hitting the asterisk key on the numeric keypad, and that'll just give me a marker there. Now the next step is to start masking off the actor, and we're going to use a technique called rotoscoping. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look at the action first, and I'm going to break it up into, it's really one continuous movement, but we could look at it as two separate movements where he walks to the center, clicks, and then walks off to the right. So I'm actually going to start in the middle where I can see him and I have him fully visible, and I'm going to zoom out a bit. And sorry guys, is someone playing audio there on the clip? Okay. Right, carry on. Okay, so I'm going to start creating a mask around the person. So what I'll do is I'll select the layer that I want to mask, and there's a few options here because it doesn't need to be very exact or very accurate around things like, you know, the clothing and things like that. I could get an ellipse tool and I could click and drag around. Just zoom out another little bit so I can see my mask, and then I can go and kind of modify that, move it around, scale it, do whatever I need to do to make sure that it pretty much covers all of my character. Now I'll switch off my clean plate so I can see the result of that. So you'll see it does in fact cover him, and the next thing I can do is give that a bit of feather so that if there were any changes in conditions between the foreground plate and the clean plate, that I can blend those slight differences, potential differences in color between the two. So I'm going to feather that up to around 50 pixels, a little bit more even, up to 100. This is the HD video, and that's pretty much set up now. The next thing that I need to do is start keyframing this. So I'll drop a keyframe here to record that path in that shape, in that position, at that moment in time, and then I'm going to start keyframing the path elsewhere so that I can create movement on the mask based on the movement of the actor. So before I do any of that, I need to be able to see around the mask and not just inside it. So I'm going to change the mode from add to none. So now when he walks, I can see where he's going. Okay, so the general idea here is that you try and do as few keyframes as possible. Let After Effects do as much of the work for you through interpolation. So what I'll do is I'll get him just off the screen, and I'm going to double click and move the mask off to follow him. Then what I do is I pull the playhead back and see, does the mask, I'll just switch it back to add, does the mask always contain him throughout the movement? In this case, yes, because it's a nice big mask. Yeah. Now we're using a big mask for simplicity. It could limit us ultimately if we wanted to put another version of the actor closer behind or in front, but it's fine. We'll work with what we have. And I'm going to, again, switch it off. Bring the playhead back to just before he comes on. Switch it back to add. And see how that matches. So potential clipping there on the top of his head. So I might just go out a few frames and just nudge it slightly to the right. And then again, follow that, pull the playhead through, see does it follow him, does it match his movements? Seems okay. So we look, okay, so just here you can see it's just clipping the back of his leg. So at that moment, whoops, I will double click again on the mask, pull it back and down just a tiny bit, and then follow him. So what you're doing is you're trying to start with the very basic movement. So we started at the middle, then we went to the very start, then we went to the very end, and now we're just pulling the playhead in between those points to see if it slips, if it doesn't match him perfectly. And we do that by kind of going halfway between each keyframe, seeing if it's okay, if not, modifying it. And again, eventually After Effects will catch up with you and be able to match by interpolating all of the other frames. And at this point, it looks like we've got a pretty decent moving mask. So what I can do now is I can switch the clean plate back on and see if when we switch the mask off that we notice that we've got two different plates. If I just allow that to play its way through, looks okay. Now the shadow is an issue, but we're not going to get into using multiple masks for shadows and things like that. We're going to just go with the subject, because the shadow isn't something that we'll really pick up on too closely unless someone points it out, obviously. But the shadow could be explained away as a different light in the room that's kind of filling in that shadow. So we'll leave that. Now, so what we have is we've got a fairly convincing foreground plate, background clean plate, and importantly, we've isolated the subject in the foreground, which gives us a little bit of scope now that we can play around with using duplicates of our foreground plate. And to create a duplicate, you just select whatever it is you want to duplicate. In this case, the foreground plate, hit Command and D. And now we have two versions, but they're both pretty much sitting one on top of each other. So if we want to, excuse me, stagger them, we can pull the clip around in time. If we click it this way, we'll see that we move the action forward in the clip. And if we duplicate the first one again, pull it the other way, we'll ultimately be pulling that one back in time. So with the three of these, now this will need a bit of rendering, so I'm just going to do a RAM preview here. So I'll hit my N key here to end the time. Work area, hit 0. Just let that render out my three versions of Martin. So I'll just put that up to fit full screen, and we'll just see that go through. Now, I see an issue on the left-hand side of the screen that I need to go back and fix, and that is that the mask is just sitting slightly off to the left, and it's kind of putting a bit of a feather on the figures as they move past. So probably the quickest way to do this is just delete the two duplicate layers, because that takes no time at all, and then go to the end of the timeline, and I'm just going to click and move that mask off a little bit further to the left. So that was only noticeable when the second and third versions of the actor came through. So I can duplicate that again, And this time what I'll do is I will so we've got so we'll go with 3. I mean, we could pretty much do this as long as we have enough clean plate. We can do as many of these as we need, but we'll stick with 3 for the moment. It's not rendering the full work area. So although it's not terribly noticeable, the shadows are creating an issue. Now, all that requires is that we go back, and where we see a shadow issue, we extend the mask with a second add mask or something like that, and we move the second mask to take in the shadow. So we'll do that in a different video. But for now, we've got the first step done, in that we've got our 3 versions of our actor. Now I might put in a fourth version, and this time what I want is for one to come out a little bit after the others on his own. So the first 3 come out. Oh, I'll have to switch them off so I can't see them. Okay. And then the last one comes out. Okay. Now, I'm going to end this video here and do the next step in another